In this video, there will be spoilers for Onward, so you have been warned. So Onward was released onto Disney Plus last Friday, so that means it's time to dive into Pixar's latest film. And to be honest, I really enjoyed it. I loved the characters, the suburban fantasy world, and the storyline. It was a really fun adventure film that I love seeing come out of Pixar. Although it was so different to anything that we see in a Pixar film, it felt really attached to what they usually release. Which is strange because it's not like we haven't seen magic in a Pixar movie before. I mean, there was magic in Brave, and I guess a little bit of unexplained magic in Coco, but it felt like something we hadn't seen in a Pixar movie before. Maybe it was because of the strange world that they live in, which is similar to our own, but with magical creatures and objects. And maybe that is it, because every other Pixar movie has been set on Earth, and, well, this one isn't, as far as I'm aware. And usually there are humans in Pixar movies. Not all of them, but usually there is some connection to our world. But back to the magic. This movie focuses heavily on magic, even from the start, saying that the world was once magical, but times change and technology takes over. And this is a main part in the film. How we are so glued to our devices these days and we've just let the magic go. Most Pixar movies follow some kind of writing format, and this movie does follow a simple format. Usually it is, what if this thing had a world of its own? And it explores the idea, what if all these magical creatures lived together in their own world? So let's talk about the story and characters. The film follows the lives of Ian and Barley, who grew up without a father. Ian is shy and quiet and is not sure of himself, and Barley is brave, daring, and adventurous. On Ian's 16th birthday, their mum gives them a magical staff that their dad left for them, and they will bring him back for 24 hours. And that is basically where the movie takes off. They have to bring their dad back before the sun sets, because when they did it the first time, it only brought back his legs. It doesn't even feel like one of those movies where they have to go to a place to receive a thing so they can get a thing. It's not really a fetch quest movie, it's just a really fun road trip fantasy adventure film. But there is something in this film that is truly special, and that is the relation between Barley and Ian. They have their moments in the movie where they disagree and fight, but they stay together because they both want the same thing, and they will try anything to get their dad back for one last day, and they could not last without the other. Throughout the movie, they get into a lot of trouble, and that can lead to some absolutely hilarious scenes and terrible situations that the two get themselves into. Like when they're at the petrol station and they run into the pixies, and they have this big chase up the highway where Ian learns to believe in himself. And the movie covers some big themes, like loss and memories, like Barley sharing the few memories that he has of his dad because Ian has none. And by the end of the movie, when Ian realises that Barley is a dad to him as well as a brother, he sacrifices his chance to see his dad for Barley so he can say one last goodbye to his dad because he was too scared to do it as a kid. And that right there has a special Pixar touch to it that no animation studio can master. And the moral of the story is to be thankful for what you got. No matter how angry you can get at a family member, they'll always be there. And how we can embrace change like technology and new inventions, but sometimes it's good to remember that there is nothing wrong with the way we've always done it. And many times throughout the movie, I just got goosebumps from these emotional scenes. This movie has many funny moments as well, and also some very heartfelt moments, and when you put them together, it just makes an amazing movie. And by the end of the movie, Ian has learned that to be more confident and outgoing, and Barley has learned that he has to be a father figure for his brother, and they can embrace the magic as well as technology. They did a great job of making a captivating plot and storyline that is both fun and imaginative, and is perfect for both kids and adults, and really a good movie for the whole family, but tackles some big themes and ideas. Because this film is based off true events from the director Dan Scanlon's life. When he was a year old, his father died, and he couldn't remember him, and when he was older, he came across a tape of his father speaking, and it was the first time he ever heard him. And a lot of that has a relation with the story of Onward, like when Barley hears his father speak and desperately wants to see him. And this movie was a big risk for Pixar, because they've just come off a line of sequels and prequels. In fact, the last 10 years of Pixar, they have released 8 sequels and only 3 originals. And I think that, the sequels are fine, but the originals stand out. So Pixar were just used to making all these straight up sequels to their better original films. And you could say that making an original was pretty different for them. But I think the film title of the movie explains what Pixar are doing. They're not looking back, they're not making any more sequels in the near future, and they're just making good, original, solid films. And that's what Pixar are known for. They are going onward. Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe for more great content, and make sure to like this video, and I'll see you next Friday.